I was going to switch the cam so it's like right on him here, and now he's... I just opened up chat instead. Nigel is crying a bit once he's left alone in here for a little bit, and I'm trying to encourage him to not be dependent on people. That's why I don't come in to console him. If I did that, he would become dependent on me and expect me to come in every time he meows, and then he would never shut up. He's already a little bit dependent, so I don't want him to become overly dependent. If it was just Ziggy here, you know, that wouldn't probably would not be a problem at all, because she's not that dependent when she was here. I said Ziggy, didn't I? Hazel. So, if anyone says, poor Nigel, they owe $1 to their local shelter, because he's not traumatized or anything. Somebody in chat basically put it like teaching a kid how to sleep through the night without running to the parents' bedroom. Basically like that. Quit tearing up the corner of my chair. Look at that belly. So when he does get crying and mewing and all that, I most likely will not come in, and I will wait until he stops, so he doesn't link the two. True Ziggy too. Punitive kisses, yep. Just think 2 weeks ago, if I had tried to do this, I'd probably be bleeding. And he's purring up a storm. That's right, I don't want to reinforce negative behavior. My son came in on all on his own accord, and he did a perfect timing too. I was just about to come in, so I let him entertain Nigel. And if you may remember, Hazel also started mewing up a storm right after everybody else got adopted, and she adjusted after a day or two. He's making biscuits. His black fur is really black. Usually black fur has a brown tinge to it, but his is black. So, yeah. I forget if a straight black fur is a trait of a cow kitty or a tuxedo. But he's got both cow kitty and tuxedo traits too. Oops. Slipped coming around third base. If you have a shy kitty or a skittish cat, if they decide that a certain place is safe for petting, kind of like how Nigel treats this chair, you want to reinforce that by petting them, get them rewarded with the, I can't talk today. Rewarded, see, grunt, grunt, grunt. Nonsensical noises. Reward the behavior by petting them while they're there but not elsewhere. And then eventually, as they relax, in that area, that petting zone will start to expand. My cat Tabby, he used to be extremely shy and skittish. He was a ghost cat. I couldn't go near him. And then one day he decided that the sofa, one side of the couch, was safe to be petted. So I would pet him there and I would not try to approach him elsewhere. And then eventually the whole couch became safe, then the floor in front of the couch, and expanded from there. I rewarded him when he wanted to be petted and did not try to otherwise. Nigel really likes that feather toy. And now with Tabby, the entire house is now a safe zone. With him, it's like when he was at his worst, I would have to literally chase him around the house and trap him in order to get him to the vet. And if he was walking down the hallway and I was going the other way, he would wait, he would crouch down and wait until I was just about to reach him, and then he would rocket right past me. Tabby just got a lion cut. His undercoat started matting up all over, and this year he won't let me brush him, so I was like, okay, taking it all off. I'll probably keep him with a baby teddy bear cut from now on. Trillian did that last year, spontaneously matted, like overnight. It was incredible. I was able to brush hers out. As long as I'm careful and not pull too much at once, she just purrs and enjoys the scritches. Yeah, I refer to as ghost cat, and I say ghosties refer to a ghost cat in chat. That's a cat that you know exists, but you really don't ever see them. You see the food disappear, the water disappears, and the litter box fills up, but you don't really see them anywhere. Or you rarely do. You can hear them, but you can't see them. Okay. Lisa Toronto asked, spontaneously matted, is that a thing? It's usually what happens is like the coat starts to mat, but you can't feel it. And then, like one day he just gets to, it's like hits a critical mass, and it really depends on the cat and the fur coat too. And then just like one day, just all of a sudden there's like a solid mass underneath of the butt right near the skin. Like Trillian is prone to that, but fortunately hers forms like tiny clumps at the base. So I was like, I'll sit her on my lap. I have to do this before I take a shower because she gets hair everywhere, or gets on my clothes. But I sit there and I just run my fingers through her coat. You know, I figured out, earlier last year you know, out to find them. You just have to run them through and look for tiny lumps. And then I get a claw brush and comb those out. Different types of coats require different types of brushes. Like Trillian, her coat is cottony, so I have to use a claw brush. Mercury's is kind of coarse, so, and the round rake brush works best for him. Kugra, the purple brush with the big purple teeth, like a rubber brush, that works best for him. It's like with Trillian, I had to figure out what brush worked best for her. This is before I knew about the different style coats requiring different types of brushes. To figure out what type of brush works for her, how to brush her that she would accept, and how to use that type of brush. It was like when I first tried the claw brush, I would just use all 5 tines raking through the fur, and that pulled too much, and she would snip and bite it and try to get away. And then once I realized that, I just tried just one hook, and I can take care of her coat pretty well like that with just one. If I use 2 or more, she will resist. I'll get a picture of Tabby. And their coats can, like if they're going to mat really fast, they tend to mat when the weather suddenly gets a lot warmer over a period of time. The body decides, okay, let's shed all this extra fur. Let's get rid of this extra fur. But it doesn't just, fall out on its own. It sometimes gets stuck in there, tangled up with the other fur, and now that it's no longer attached to the body, it just tangles up. Good boy. It's over here. Good boy, you're tracking. Yay. You're kicking yourself in the head. Kind of cool. His claws just went all out and then ding, gone. Kaylee B says, I heard people say that it's not actually okay to shave cats. It really depends on the cat and their coat. It's like Tabby's going to require shaving now because his fur, it's so long. His fur gets up to 9 inches long, and on a really hot summer, that could be miserable for a cat with a long coat. And he was kind of miserable after he got it cut because he wasn't used to it. All of a sudden, it's like his coat, but now he loves it. And one thing I noticed that when he had longer fur, and he wasn't matting or anything at the time, he did not like me petting by his tail, but now he does. And you can almost see it in his face. It's like, hey, I kind of like that now. So that was really interesting. I did not expect that. the hair on his tail gets up to 9 inches. The rest of his body is probably close to half that. Still impressive. He still has all his tail hair though. I didn't shave it. I told him not to shave his tail. That doesn't make any sense to me. If the tail's not matting, and it usually never has a problem with matting, don't shave the tail. Like Nigel here probably will never have a problem with matting because he's got short fur and he doesn't have much of an undercoat, at least not yet. He may develop an undercoat later. Like Deuces may have more problem, will have far more issues with potential matting than Nigel ever will, just because his coat's longer and thicker. Like Tabby's 13 years old and he never had a problem matting until he was 12. And it turns out as cats get older, they bathe less and the coat oils build up more and makes them more prone to matting. Who did I go to? I went to Alex. There's like 2 groomers in this area, Alex and Kat. And Kat no longer grooms in this area. She basically sold her business to a couple, and now she's creating franchises around the nation. It's like, as far as the COD, a lot of times it's a regional thing. That whatever content server that's serving near your area might be having issues. Or if a lot of overseas people are having issues, then maybe the pipelines between continents are having issues or saturated. Australia particularly has issues because it has to go to Europe, and then I think Africa, and then to Australia. And COD can be caused by hackers doing denial of service attacks on different content nodes on the internet. You get tiny little black spots on your feet, on the bottom of your feet. Yep, you do. Yeah, TJ said that some cats have to be knocked out to get shaved. Maya is my oldest cat. She's 16 years old. She has to be knocked out. I took her to Cat to get trimmed or shaved. She went there a couple years earlier and was fine, grumpy but fine. But Maya remembered. First thing Cat does is trims claws. She couldn't even get that far. She tried twice, 2 different times, could not get past the claws. I can't trim her claws either. She's the only cat that I've ever owned that I have a very healthy respect for. She's sweet as can be, but she says no with a full paw. She has a human flattening paw. So I had to get her. I was able to shave her up to about here, from her tail up to here, and she wouldn't let me go any further. Chris helped with that by scratching her neck and all that, and made her really happy, so I can distract her, or he distracted her while I shaved her. You know, she was relaxed in the house. The moment I put her in a carrier, she gets agitated, and it's pretty much game over at that point. She needed a dental, so I talked with a vet, and they said that they'll shave out her remaining mass during her dental when she's unconscious. They said that we won't shave her. We'll just take out the mats. And I was like, I take it. I'll take it. This is a sweet little dainty girl that's, she's feeling the years, but you don't mess with Maya. Like, she was having blood drawn and all that for her senior panel, and I swear that, she was on the other side of the clinic, and I could hear her quite clearly. I expected the text to come back bloodied and look like a murder scene back there. It actually triggered an anxiety attack. How loud and carrying on she was going. I was afraid for them. I was reading some D&D jokes earlier, and I guess Maya would be like, let me see, level 18, retired barbarian with a sweet soft side. But when she rages, oh man, she's got like a +3 torty. One of the times she went in, she had a bladder infection, so she had that taken care of before they would do her dental. And one of the chicks, they brought her back, and she had locked onto a towel, so they were able to do most everything, because she was like "Rawr" on that towel. I'm like, glad it wasn't them. That would have been fun. Socks, who passed, I believe early this year or late last year, he was a total butthead. Pretty much the majority of his life he was a butthead. But as he got older, he's starting at around 14, 15 years old, he started to become sweeter. I think the first time I heard him purr when he was 13 years old. I was laying on my bed reading, and I heard this like weird noise. I never heard anything like it before. So I got up and I was looking around the room trying to figure out where it was coming from, and then I noticed it was Socks at the end of the bed purring. He never purred in his life, and his purr motor had no experience. But in his later years, he loved to be purred. He just hated to be restrained in any way, shape, or form. Sorry, C. Sears. I thought he was going to like live forever, and then it's like he had some sort of underlying health issue that caused a clot to throw, which caused a seizure. And he ended up basically being trapped in his own body, and I could tell that he was absolutely miserable because this is a cat that hates being held or restrained in any way, shape, or form, and now his body was holding him back. He couldn't move, and his quality of life just went to zero. And that's the big thing about cats. You have to always evaluate their quality of life. You want to keep them around as long as you can, but if their quality of life is just not good, the best thing you can do is say goodbye on good terms. That's one of those things I wish I'd do for people instead of letting them basically die of their illnesses and pain and stuff. Or cancer, especially cancer patients. If it's terminal and they're dying, that's a different argument. I'll leave that alone. Yes, I have a photo album of my pets. If you go to Facebook, and it's facebook.com/john.bartlett, BARTLETT. If you look in the photo album, there's an album called Pets. They're all there. Most of them. Most of the pictures are there. Now, you're welcome to follow me as well. Don't send me a friend request unless I personally know you quite well or interact with you frequently. Most of the posts that I make are public. Pretty much all the posts I make are public, so you won't be missing anything by just following. I think Nigel's getting tired. Like when Kugra was sick, I was constantly evaluating the quality of life. If I knew there was a chance that, if I knew that there was no chance for him improving, and he was in pain, I would have said goodbye. But Kugra amazes the vets because his body has this incredible ability to recover. By all rights, when he had fatty liver disease, his liver counts were so high that usually it's never survivable. But he was responding, so we decided to try treating, and he recovered. Like liver, okay, how they test liver values with the blood test. When a liver cell dies, it gets passed into the bloodstream, and that's how they detect the health of the liver, by the number of cells they detect in the bloodstream. Normally, I think it's a very low number, like 8 to 20. Kugra was over 1,000. That was clear sign of liver failure. But with fatty liver disease, their bodies basically dump all the fat reserves in the body into the bloodstream, and the liver is supposed to convert that fat into energy, but there's so much fat being flooded into the bloodstream that it overwhelms the liver, and the liver just says, screw this, I give up. And the liver gets saturated with fat cells, and the only way to and the cat will stop eating, and that will encourage the cycle of the body dumping fat stores. So it's a negative cycle that's usually fatal if not treated. And treatment's usually putting in a feeding tube and keeping enough food in their tummy to stop the body from automatically dumping the fat stores and to allow the liver to recover, to process what it already has and recover from that. Nigel is tired. I'll probably leave shortly, let him nap. Cougar also has intestinal lymphoma, which is basically intestinal cancer. And the lifespan of a cat with that is typically 2 years. And it's been 3 or 4 years now. So every day I get with him is like a bonus. But the vet said that occasionally a cat with intestinal lymphoma will live many, many years. It's rare, but it happens. But I also know that if Cougar, if his body does the same thing again, dumps all this fat, his liver will not be able to handle that. So quality of life, as long as the benefits of living outweigh, for the cat, not you, for the cat or the animal, benefits of living outweigh the cons of pain and discomfort, then it's okay to try to keep them going. But if they're not enjoying life, if they're just existing, quality of life is not there. Yeah, it's like we all miss them, but you'll be doing your beloved pet a disservice by keeping them around. Okay, come back over here to the seat, and then I'll say goodbye, so you can take a nap. Yeah, he's like, I'm tired. He's a little quirky. He likes to lean up against the water bowl and sleep. Yesterday when I was watching a movie with my son, he was like propped up like this and his head down on the water bowl and was asleep like that. Okay, fine. They asked to check for cancer. To have a biopsy done, and then before doing the, fixing the teeth. A lot of times, there's nothing against the vet, but a lot of times I'll try to do all the tests all at once, and that's usually fairly expensive. But if there are tests that you can do that can eliminate other tests, and you have the benefit of time, go that route. It's less stressful on the cat, and that if it is cancer, and if it is cancer and fixing the teeth won't help, then it boils down to the quality of life question. Nigel's departure will be on camera. I don't know, Hazel surprised me. I opened the carrier door and she walked right on in and was not fussing at all to get back out. Yeah, it's like, yeah, animal. That's the big question. You have to ask yourself if prolonging the cat's discomfort is beneficial to you or to them. If it's just for beneficial to you, then you're not doing your kitty any favors. Sometimes the hardest part of loving an animal is saying goodbye. And actually, but the next hardest part is deciding that it's time to say goodbye. And if it is possible for you to do so, be there when you do say goodbye. Like my cats, I make sure I'm the last thing they see, and it's really It's it's more it's mostly painless. They inject them with a massive dose of painkillers, so any pain that they are feeling, it's released, and then they're hot. And then they give them another shot, and their heart stops. Nigel likes to sleep near the watering hole, using it as a pillow. Nigel will be leaving around 4:30, 4:20, 4:30. Depends on traffic. We've got some. They'll be at my volunteer location. I asked that you don't come to say goodbye to Nigel. There's not enough room there. It's crowded with just 3 people. But there are very nice kitties there, big kitties that he'll like to say hi to. Wendy, I've had three cats pass recently. That I basically had to decide that their quality of life wasn't good. Like sucks. Yeah. If it's something that, yeah, I talked about that. You can watch it on the DVR or watch it when Fake posts, discussing quality of life. But basically, if it comes to a question of quality of life, don't be selfish. Okay, let me put this up. He's falling asleep. He's tired. Hey Nigel, why don't you watch over there so you don't see me putting this up here. Be good. If he's still there in the spot when I get downstairs, which he's not, I'll put the cam on him. Oh, second wind. Of course. I'm still going. So enjoy the kittens. Excuse me. Enjoy the kitten. That's right. Kitten. Have a nice day.